Hi, this is Vanessa Zamora. We're at PubCon Las Vegas 2009, and joining me now is one of my favorites, Melanie Mitchell. However, she's in a different role yet again. Senior Vice President of Search Marketing at Digitas. First of all, go ahead with what you were telling me about, we always like to hear great things about PubCon, so we can pat ourselves on the back a little bit. We'll let Melanie share with us why she thinks there's value in coming to a conference such as this.
Absolutely. So the people here I found are very energetic, and there's a willingness to share information. And they're not just putting up numbers or statistics that aren't meaningful and takeaways. You look around the room and people are always writing things down, and even in the hallways, the amazing conversations that you have. And the crowd's just incredibly friendly and helpful. And so that's one of the things that I love about PubCon is that, people aren't just talking about search marketing or social media or whatever circa 5 years ago or whatever. They're really saying, what's the next big thing? How are we going to track it? How are we going to make it meaningful? How are we going to use it within our own companies? How do we take it to our clients? And then new ways to look at the data, and then how does it all flow together? Because one of the interesting things that has happened over the last, I would say maybe year or two, is where companies used to take offline, online, PR, search, and really sort of silo them. And now they've started to realize that it's just part of the conversation overall. And that a lot of these things like television drives people online to search for information. People see someone tweet something, or they see a blog posting and they search for information. So it's just part of the overall conversation. And then how do you take that and make sure you account for it, whether it's through organic search or paid search? And so the great thing too is you get a lot of different perspectives at PubCon, because you do have people not coming just from the agency side and the company side, but also from the PR side, the social side. You get some people that are involved in the offline world. It's many different perspectives of how do we then address this to make it success for everyone. I've been at Digitas now for about 4 months, moved to Chicago. It's been awesome. People keep telling me, watch out for the winter, but it's been great, So what I was brought in to do was to help build up the search organization there. So really focus on the discipline for both paid and organic search. And I find it pretty amazing. I mean, there's about 50 people in the company right now. We're continuing to hire more people just to either pitch new business or handle existing business, because companies realize that they need search and they need to handle it, and it doesn't necessarily make sense to do it all in-house. Like sometimes they just want additional help, and so we help them find those solutions that make sense for them. But the interesting thing of it is that I came from the client side for pretty much all of my career. And so coming to the agency side, I mean, I've worked with many agencies, but coming to that side and having that client perspective of knowing some of the challenges that you face when you're working through the bureaucracy and the politics, and even when you're doing budgeting or looking at the numbers and reporting, like what's meaningful, how do you speak to the executives in a way that are going to make them pay attention to what you have to say. Bringing that perspective to the agency has been pretty amazing, because search marketing has been done before I got there at Digitas, but it was done for different clients in different ways. And so now pulling it all together and coming up with ways to really streamline the process, look at the reporting, and look at what information we're giving back to the clients, and automating some of the tactical stuff, and allowing the people on the team to be more strategic and really help the clients along to just say to them, like, here's what's next, and here's what you should be thinking about, and come to them with what I consider gifts. And that's what we talk about, like bring the clients gifts, things that they hadn't thought of that would help them in the long run. So that's some of the parts that I love. And I love to build things. I mean, as you know, like in the last couple jobs that I had, working with Network Solutions for about 4.5 years, built up their search program there, both on paid and organic side, and then moved over to AOL in 2004, because I thought the whole shift to move content on the web was really interesting. And so built up their paid and organic search for all the free content there, and now coming to Digitas and looking at the search program and the search discipline within the organization, and building that team up and building into something that's going to be world class. And the awesome thing for us too is we're owned by Publicis, so we have a lot of our sister agencies that are around that we all share ideas and trade ideas, and we can pull in this world-class, really, like analytics and some of the proprietary tools. So, I mean, it's exciting. I love it.
You've got everything. That's awesome. You did mention, that was interesting, you said at some point, sometimes you advise you advise companies that they have to outsource.
Right.
That's a challenge. You know, how do you, first of all, where do you go
Right.
to outsource? How do you know what the right people are, and how do you, you know, sort of connect with people that are going to work well with your company?
Well, every situation's obviously different. You know, even people that'll connect well with the company, because clients are different and they have different needs, and some move at different paces. And sometimes, if you have a very demanding, that's a client that's always on deadline, you have to find that right fit. But the way that I approach every single area, it's just not one size that fits all. It's really looking at, you know, what are the challenges? You know, where are we at right now? Where do we want to be? And how do we get there? What are the opportunities? And then really kind of boiling it down into, you know, here's where we are, here's where we got to be, here's what we need, and then laying it out. I mean, it's, like I said, it's very different. But it's just all down to process. I'm very much a process-oriented person.
Yeah.
I blame my father. I blame him. He was in the military.
Yep.
So everything was very, you know, disciplined and thoughtfully laid out. And so that's how I approach every single area, whether it's a small task or it's a huge, large opportunity for a new existing client.
All right, Mel, well, let's wrap up now.
Okay.
It was great talking to you, as
Great
always.
talking to
Thanks
you,
so
too.
much. This is Melanie Mitchell, and I'm Vanessa Zamora. We're at PubCon Las Vegas 2009. Thanks for joining. Bye.